Mainman Mademan here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. Sitting here thinking about the Danny Garcia and Terence Crawford rivalry, right? We know this goes way back, all the way to back in the day to these two fighters were amateurs. 1-1 in the amateurs. Everyone knows it. They beat each other. Since they became pros, for one reason or another, they have not been able to settle the score between these two. They're highly competitive. They are well aware of one another. But for whatever reason you want to believe, these two ain't fought. I mean, you know. The thing is, I'm thinking today, would that fight make any sense going forward at this point? And I'm starting to lean towards no. Because at this point, Danny Garcia, if he loses to Errol Spence, would have been beaten by Spence, Keith, and Shawn. What does this benefit Terence Crawford? The thing is, it's already, if you look around, people are not giving full credit for Kell Brook. And if Kell Brook can't get no credit, he can't get no credit for pretty much no one he's fought at the welterweight division. Even the man that beat the man in Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao, he couldn't even get no credit for that. So what makes y'all think he gonna get credit for Danny? Especially if Errol Spence go in there and make it look easy. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's what he gonna do. I'm just saying if it happens. So how much credit would Crawford get? Why is he wasting his time at that point with a man who, since he's gotten to the class, has been losing to the top floor? Why should he waste his time? Why should the #1 pound for pound fighter in boxing, not the #1 welterweight, not the #1 middleweight, the #1 pound for pound fighter in boxing, widely recognized all day? Why should he sit around and wait for Danny? Because of the rivalry back in the day? Danny never wanted to take advantage of the fact that they had a rivalry when he was champ. Danny never wanted to take advantage of the fact that of their rivalry back at 140 when Crawford entered the division and Danny ran to a catchweight. He didn't run to welterweight, he ran to a catchweight. So you wasn't thinking about the rivalry then. Or when your pops is calling him the nappy-headed N-word, was you thinking about it then? I wonder, Danny. But Crawford now is the #1 pound for pound fighter in boxing, supposed to think about you. You were #1 in the WBO, for crying out loud. The sanctioning body where Crawford is champion. And you ain't think about it then. You turned down the biggest offer you've ever been offered in your career when Crawford offered the $3 million guarantee. Everybody be like, Amir Khan got X. Why is Danny Garcia pocket watching? If you got the biggest offer of your career in front of you, you need to negotiate that and stop worrying about Amir Khan. But the fact of the matter is, the fans say that. Because Danny didn't say that. Danny did not counter with anything. He went silent. He disappeared. And so he wasn't thinking about the rivalry then. So why should Bud? Riddle me that. Terence Crawford says he wants the big fish. He wants the man with the 2 belts. The pound for pound champion in boxing deserves a fight of that magnitude, which I believe we're right around the corner from getting. But the thing is with Danny Garcia, how did he let something like this just float on past him? He can't come around after a loss to Errol Spence and looking for a fight with Crawford. Because Crawford at that point ain't got time. He ain't got time. And that's the thing. If Crawford, everybody says, well, in October 2021, should he go to PBC? Let's just say he does, right? Let's go to the land of make-believe and say he does. Does the PBC throw out a Danny Garcia at him first? Well, you got to do this first, Crawford. You got to do that. Do they do that to the #1 pound for pound fighter in boxing? Or do they give him the big fish? This is why I think a lot of Crawford Nation would be cool with Terence Crawford just going fight by fight, right? That's his business. But the fact still remains, I hope that the only way that Danny can try to make it back to a Bud is if PBC offers him first in order for, Bud to get the Spence fight or something crazy jazz like that. You know what I mean? Which we all hoping ain't the case. But from where I see it, I don't think he should have time for Danny. Because Danny never had time for him. And now that you are a 3-time loser at the class, 3-time loser on the top floor, if you lose to Errol Spence, then that's a big if with 40 F's behind it. If you lose to Errol Spence. Well, Crawford ain't got time, champ. Just like you did. Thumbs up for the fam, man. Hit it on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. Much love to everybody out there, man. Salute to everybody on Facebook and Mainman Mademan's boxing forum, man. All day. Much love to the fam, and I catch up with y'all real soon. I'm just saying, though, at that point, I want Crawford going into big fights. No need to be taken on trash. When he goes to PBC, we expecting, if a move like that was to be made, if it does, if it doesn't, whatever. If the move is made, we ain't expecting for him to go over there to get trash. We want gold. The goal is around the big fish, not around 3-time loser Danny if he loses to Errol Spence Jr. You get me? Danny ain't never had time. To the next video. Peace out.